All right, I'm Coach Daniel, and we're here at North County Gymnastics and the Jiminy Kids. This is my son Audio. He's he finished level 6 season. Now he's going to be doing optional, maybe JD or level 8. But regardless of what level you are, we're going to be working on circles. So if you don't have a mushroom, that's okay. You could use something like an ottoman even for now, and we're going to do some work on the floor. So we're going to work on perfecting your circle. And if you're not really into circles, you know, the circles are the foundation for like breakdancing, windmills, air flares, all those things. So let's start from the beginning. We're going to move the mushroom, and we're going to do some exercises just to warm up. So we'll go on our hands and knees. Audio, go ahead and do this with me. Go ahead and push up to your fist. This one, as you know, is my favorite wrist warm-up strength. So it increases strength in your wrist, but also flexibility, go side to side. And when you're doing this one, you can put more weight over your hands and push back up to fist. Okay, let's go forward and backwards. 3, 4, 5. Let's go backwards. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for those of you that work circles and are familiar with pommel horse and mushroom, you guys know there's a lot of pressure right here on your wrist. So when you're going like this, sometimes it creates a calcium buildup on your bone right here where it's hard to put your palm flat. So it's important you strengthen your wrist. Before you do pommel horse, make sure that you warm up your wrist really well. Starting with push-ups is a good way to do it. After push-ups, you can do all the different wrist exercises that you've seen me do in past videos. So right now, we're going to start at the very beginning. Whether you've done circles before or not, today it'll help you, the tips I'll give you will help you with intermediate, even beginner, intermediate, and advanced folks that do pommel horse. So Audio, why don't we go into push-up position first? Why don't you go in the middle and I'll tell you what to do. So go ahead and lift up one arm and walk 1/4 of the way. There you go. So walk all the way to 3 o'clock. No, there you go. See, right now he's trying to keep his hips extended like this. His hips are square that way, but he's also not sagging. Okay. Now go ahead and walk to 12 o'clock and put your hand back down where you got it. Okay. Now when you're in this exercise right here, you want to push your hips as high as you can, like this. And let's go ahead and hold that. Can you hold that for 10? Tell me what you feel. Does it feel like it's burning? Sure. In your back and your bottom? This is a really good extension drill. So go ahead and just sit in a pike right here. Okay, go from here to extended 5 times on your own. Push as high as you can in the front without bending your knees. Okay, and then go back down. Go ahead and do that 4 more times. Push your hips as high as you can. Good, 3 more times. Push your hips high. Good, tighten your knees. Go ahead and 2 more times. Good, and 1 more. How does that feel? Does that burn?
Yeah.
Yeah, that burns. It's a good exercise. Point your toes hard. Okay, good. Go ahead and sit down. So, go ahead and scoot back here so we can see you better. So, that's a little bit too far. There we go. Okay, feet together, point your toes. So this time he's going to go from here. Now I want him to push back like this. And he's going to walk his feet to 9 o'clock. So walk, 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 go all the way. There you go. So you're square to the camera, heels together. And right here, trying to keep your hips extended. Okay, and then go ahead and walk back to 6 o'clock where your feet. Yeah. So that's where you start. Okay, so if you're doing this at home with us, go ahead and walk in a circle. You're always going to start and finish with your hips facing the same direction in a circle. So Audio, go ahead and do it. So start in push-up position, lift up one arm, and walk underneath that arm, and then put it right back down where you got it, all the way through, all the way, all the way, all the way. Put your hand back down. Good, I like how he's standing extended in the front. Walk the rest of the way, and put your hand back down. Okay? So at home, I want you guys to do that 3 times on your own. Audio, go ahead and do it. Start to finish, we'll do 3 circles, just walking your feet around. Ready? Go ahead. So you lift up your hand, and you always put your hand back where you got it, and put it down. There you go. And keep going. Walk, 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 walk. Okay, square your hips. Make sure your shoulders are over your wrists. Keep going. This is circle number 2. When you finish, right here, have your shoulders over your hands like this, because when you do a circle, you want to be leaning over your shoulders. Okay, we'll do 1 more. Walk, 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 walk. Walk a little bit faster. If you guys are doing this at home, you can feel it in your core, all the way around your midsection and your obliques. It's tiring. Audio, how'd that feel? Is it tiring?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to bring the mushroom in, and we're going to do a couple things with that. If you have a mushroom at home, pull it out. If not, you can use an ottoman or something about the same size. Oh, push it in here. Okay, Audio, real fast, just do the same thing on the mushroom as we just did on the board. So just walk, walk, drop your hips when you start. Okay, keep going. Go, go, go. Keep going. And put your hand back down. So something that Audio did is a common mistake. So you put your shoulders forward. When you start your circles, you want to drop your hips as low as possible, kind of like in a seal stretch, like that. Because if you start your circle high in the back, you're gonna go low in the front. You want your circles to be even, okay? The same distance off the floor the entire way. So drop your hips. Okay, step to the side and walk underneath it. Go all the way around. So see how he's putting his hands back down exactly where he got them? Keep going, Audio. All the way, all the way, all the way. Okay, and then finish with your shoulders over your hands. Yeah, you should be leaning forward. Okay, so now let's jump halfway, and then we'll jump the other half. So now we're gonna start half circle, finish in the front push. Okay, now jump the rest of the way. Push down. Good. See, you keep your shoulders over your hands. Good. Okay, you guys at home, one more time. Show me how you start. Go into push-up position. Drop your hips all the way down. All the way down. That's how you start a circle. Now step to the side and lift one arm up. Okay, so how do you just go like this? Just do the step where you lift one arm up. So step to the side. And then, so even when you do this, he's way back here. His shoulders should be right over his hands right here. So I'll just lean over. Now step to the side and then go. Good. So he did a full circle. Now, if you're at home, you can't do a full circle, then jump quarter, jump halfway, jump 3/4, and then if you can make it 3/4, then you might be ready for a full circle. So do a full circle again. Wait, stop. See, your hips are much too high. So go ahead and drop your hips down, 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 and then do your circle. And then finish with your hips down again. Shoulders over your hands. Okay. So you guys practice this at home a couple times. Right now, here are the things I want you focusing on, even just with one circle. Start and finish with square hips. Start and finish with your shoulders over your hands. And make sure that when you start, you drop your hips. Okay? So, let's see. All right, so the next part of this, and this is one thing where when I'm working with gymnasts that are having issues with their circle, especially in the beginning, is they pump their knees right here on 3/4. They bend their knees. So if I'm doing my circle, sometimes instead of driving their heels and extending right here, they pump their knees and they bend, and so that's a hard habit to break. So I'm going to show you something that'll help fix that. Audio, do you mind showing an example of a circle where you bend your knees right here on the 3/4? So show me one of those where you pump. Bend. Okay, do 3 circles in a row and bend your knees every time you get past 3/4. Bend, bend, bend. Good. So that's a very common mistake when you're dealing with the circle on pommel horse or on mushroom. That's one of the biggest things we're always trying to fix. So here's what we're going to do next. When you get to 3/4, this is what you're focusing on now. You're trying to snap your hips back and get your hand down. This is your second hand as fast as you can. So that quarter snap like this is really what is supposed to be propelling you instead of bending your knees and pumping here. So from 3/4 back to start and finish, you're getting your hand down like this. So Audio, go 3/4 like I was showing. Just stop in 3/4. And then from here to the finish, snap this hand back there and get your hips back to start. Yeah. So go ahead and do it again. 3/4 snap. Okay, yeah, finish. So go ahead and stand in support over there, and I want to show you guys something. So remember, as you get here, you push down. Push down. So this is your first hand. This is the hand you put down first. This is what I call my second hand. It's the second hand that comes down. When you're doing your circles, you always want to put your second hand down faster. Okay? And the faster your circles are, the easier they're going to be, plus the higher they're going to be. So if you're doing slow circles, your feet are going to scrape the ground, you're going to get stuck, you're going to be high on one side, low on one side most likely. The faster you circle, the better. So Audio, show me some slow circles, just slow speed. Yeah, why don't you do 5 slow circles?
Like slow or like walking?
Actual circles, do 5 slow circles. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. At home, if you can do circles, do 5 circles now. And if you can't do circles, then just walk like we had done in the beginning, where you learn to walk underneath your hands, like this. Do that 5 times. And then we're going to show you the difference. And 5. Okay, so when you do circles this time, I want you to focus on speeding up your circle with without bending your knees right here on 3/4 and snapping your second hand down. So audio, do 5 circles as fast as you can without going crazy or like flying off. Okay, still controlled, but do 5. And remember, what you're focusing on right now is that last quarter with your second hand, okay?
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Circle and snap, snap, snap. Get your second hand down faster. Okay. His circles were much faster. What I want to see more of is the second hand. Like I said snap, because I want to see it snap like this. Snap down. So you got this, and it's going to create a lot of speed and momentum. His legs were getting a little crazy in the front with soft knees. So audio, try again. Keep your knees even tighter and focus on the second hand snapping down even faster. Okay? Snap. Snap. There you go. Good. Second hand down faster. Okay. So give it a shot at home. Even if you're doing walking circles, just walk to 3/4, and then when you get to here, snap your second hand down. And snap. Because a lot of times when kiddos are learning a circle, they fall off right here because they're not keeping their shoulders over the hands and they're not getting their second hand back fast enough. So whether you're just learning or you're trying to perfect your circle, you want to get your second hand down faster. Audio, let's do it one more time. Let's do 6 circles this time. Okay, keep your legs tight. Try to go fast, but focus on snapping that second hand, okay? Here we go, ready? Second hand, second hand, second hand. Keep your hips and hands square. Good. Okay, good. I can tell he's trying, and the circles were getting faster. This is something you should do when you're at practice. Anytime you do circles, keep that in mind, that you're always trying to get here. You're always keeping your hips square, and you're getting your second hand down fast. So we talked about extension. I want to go over a couple of verbal cues that I give when I'm coaching pommel horse. When we're talking about extension, so sometimes we'll see a circle that has pike in the hips in the front. You want to be extended in the front, kind of like the front swing on a parallel bar swing. You want to show extension, not pike. So audio, can you show us 5 circles with a pike in the front? So try not to extend on these. Pike harder in the front. Oops. You don't have to slow down, just like 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that was 5 circles with a pike. So if I see one of my gymnasts piking in the front swing, I'll give them a couple of verbal cues. One of them might be, I've heard Coach Moctezuma, he says chest up like this. So he'll say chest up, and I say hips forward. That's a good one. So why don't you do 5 circles, try to do good extension. Maybe push your chest up. Chest up more in the front. Good. Hips up. We say belly button higher. Belly button higher. Push it down like this. That brings me to something else. Is a lot. If you're having a hard time with your circle, or you find yourself slipping off and spinning on your back like a turtle, that could be because you don't have good shoulder flexibility. So it's hard for you to reach in the back without piking. So stretching your shoulders is a big part of pommel horse, because sometimes those guys, if you watch the elite level gymnasts, they're super buff, but they can't get their arms together in the back because their shoulders are so tight and the biceps are so big. So regardless of what level you are, you need to always be stretching your shoulders. So an easy one to do on the ground would be is if you touch your pinkies and just lay on your back. You know this one. This one's pretty easy to do on your own. So touching pinkies like this. Imagine if you had front swing like this position right here. So tighten your knees and point your feet hard. That would be really good extension, right? But he probably feels a really deep stretch right here. Do you, audio?
Yeah.
So if this, so this is definitely a good stretch. You could do, if you have rings at home, you might not have rings. If you have a hanging high bar, you could do a skin the cat. Put your hands in close. Actually, put your hands shoulder width apart. Do your skin the cat, hang. Let your body hang as long as you can without a pike. And then drop. And then once you make it through the second time, do it again. Put your hands closer together and then do your skin the cat. Another way that you can stretch your shoulders is in your skin the cat, you can kind of pump your legs a little bit. Don't do it too much to where you hurt yourself, but that'll really open up your shoulders. Okay, we talked about shoulder flexibility. We talked about extending in the front. We talked about snapping your second hand down. And let's see here. Oh, the last thing that I want to talk about is just pointing your toes. And when I tell my gymnasts to point their toes hard in their circle, it also makes their legs straighter because they're thinking about pointing their foot, but they're also extending their leg. So audio, let's do 5 circles. Don't point your toes, but don't not point your toes. Just let them flop. Just do 5 circles. Yeah, don't even mind your feet. Okay. When I say soft feet, I mean they're not flexed, they're just kind of dangling there like this, yeah. So when you're doing your circles, you want to feel your big toes together. So when you jump, bring your big toes together, you squeeze, and you point your toes as hard as you can throughout your circle or your flares. A lot of times we get into flares, that first foot on the flare tends to flex. So if you can't point your toes well in your circle, then you probably aren't ready to go onto your flare. Body, do 5 circles this time. Do them fast as you can, good extension, but point your toes as hard as you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. He has a little bit of soft knees. If he points his toes harder, his knees will get even tighter. Okay, let's try it again. You were circling really high in the front, and then he was circling down in the back. And he was able to pull that off because we're on the mushroom, but if he was on the ground, he would have been high in the front, and then he would have stopped his circle in the back because he would have banged on the floor. So do it again. Try to keep your circles even. Okay, remember, you want your hips the same distance off the floor. There you go. Good. Point your toes harder. Snap your second hand down faster. Good. Okay. All right. Are there any questions? Answers? Anybody have anything to say about circles or
No.
pommel horse in general? Okay. Well, I hope those tips help you guys with mushroom. Remember, the thing about circles, the thing about pommel horse is you have to do it every day. And if you don't have strong, flexible wrists, then your wrists are going to hurt really bad when you do a ton of circles or if you do them every day. So make sure you always start with wrist strength and flexibility. And then from there, mushroom is something you have to do every day to be good at. So if you go to practice, I suggest you go to practice early once we get back to practice. Yes?
What's the trick to getting past the first one?
Past the first circle? That's a really good question. So if you get stuck on the first circle, here's typically what happens. You do your circle and then you fall off over here. Okay, you'll see that a lot when you're first learning. So what you try to do is do one circle, and then when you feel like you're about to fall right here, just see if you can finish on top leaning forward like that. So just do one circle, and then finish leaning over like that. So try that. Instead of thinking about doing 2 circles, just think about doing 1 circle, finishing on the mushroom in a support without even swinging past it. Just see if you can do it. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So just do 1 circle and then finish in the back and see if you can hold it. Yeah. So finish right here. Okay. Let me see. So that's a good one. See if you can finish just leaning forward, stop. The other one is this. So when you do a circle like this, it's because your second hand isn't getting back here fast enough. So you're lifting up this hand, and then this hand's lagging, and you fall off. So you have to get this hand back quickly. The other thing is that when you go here, you're probably leaning too far this way. So when you get this hand down, this shoulder needs to then go over your hand to teeter-tot the weight like this, because your body's like a teeter-totter. When you're on mushroom, it's kind of like you have your weight on this side, and then you go to this side. So you put your first hand down, you lean over, okay? Once you get past the half circle, you have to get your second hand down quick, and then lean over the other shoulder like this. So we'll go right here. This hand, snap it down, and lean the shoulder this way and over. Anything else?
No.
Okay. You guys, thanks for watching. Hope those tips helped you. Like I was saying before, mushroom and pommel horse is like the balance beam for girls. So you just have to do more of it than any other event. If you're strong on pommel horse, you'll probably be one of the strongest gymnasts because typically the pommel horse drops the all-around score for most kids. So to get good on pommel horse, you have to do circles every day, every single day, and just do a ton of them. And with that, that's it. You guys, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Turn.